Good morning or good afternoon, whatever it may be for you. My name is Nick Kaplan, and I am the Director of Lifespan Religious Education at Unitarian Universalist Society. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm so happy you're here watching this video. This morning during service, we are Experilearning together. So if you've already watched the first part of service where Reverend Diana led a Time for All Ages on Experilearning, you know what that means. But basically, what is happening in the sanctuary right now, or what happened on Sunday morning if you're viewing this later, is that after the Time for All Ages, adults left the sanctuary space and they went off to class. So they started in the fellowship hall all together, and then they broke into small groups and got to visit each of the classroom spaces that you'll get an opportunity to see in this video. They were asked to take something to write with and on around to the classrooms with them and had different activities to do in each room. You will get a similar experience as what they're having, but instead of our different religious education teachers in each of those spaces, I will be leading each of those for you today. You will want something to write with. There are a couple of opportunities for some journaling during these activities today. So feel free to pause this video, collect supplies that you need now, and return back. I hope that you enjoy this Experilearning service.
Here we have our juniper room. Most frequently, our juniper room has about 6 kids in it. At least that's how it was going this spring. So 6 kids from age 3 in preschool until through kindergarten. So ages 3 to 5 or 6, depending on the time of year. In this classroom, we have our little sanctuary space set up with a pulpit made by our volunteers at UUS, an altar cloth and a chalice and chairs behind. We have things in the classroom for children to engage with before or after lessons are finished. So you'll see this red bin here is a sensory bin with rice currently. That blue bin over there has sand and rocks and shells. We have all sorts of art supply bins that children can grab themselves. Play-Doh and tools are there to be taken to the table. There are child-sized yoga mats here in the corner. When children come into this room, the first thing they do as part of a lesson is to sit down and light their chalice together. Chalice lighting words with some simple pictures are on the board there, and they've got hand signs that go with everything. After they've lit their chalice at the table, what they do is they check out this box, which is called a Wonder Box, and that's our first activity in the Juniper Room for this Experilearning process. When children come together in this space and they're shown the Wonder Box, we don't know what's in here, and we have lots of questions about it. So we pass it around to each child who wants a chance to listen, feel. Does it feel heavy? Is it light? What sounds is it making? What do you think is in this box? Today, in our Wonder Box, we have a pair of sunglasses. Now, why do you think sunglasses are in our Wonder Box when we're talking about Experilearning? Experilearning is all about trying out a new perspective, right? Trying something new. The glasses that I have on help me see the world in a different way than I would on my own. And if I take off these glasses and put these on, my perspective changes. But why does that matter? Why is it important that we try new perspectives, that we experiment with new things, that we work to learn how other people and other ways of doing things exist in the world. Why does that matter? So I'm going to want you to grab something to write with and something to write on. In this classroom space today, this will be more of a discussion. But since you aren't able to be with us in person, I'd like you to take this opportunity to journal a little bit about how you can work to view things in a new way. What kinds of sunglasses can you put on to adjust your own perspective? Take as much time as you need. Feel free to pause this video to really get your thoughts down on paper. Why is it important to, and how can you try and view things from a new perspective? This is the Redbud room. This room had been previously used for mindfulness and now regularly is used with 1st through 6th grade for different types of gross motor activities. Sometimes we come in here and do yoga, either led by a teacher or led by like Cosmic Kids Yoga on YouTube. Sometimes this is just used as a play space. We have our giant 4-square in here. There is our whiteboard that has the children's chalice lighting words. We also have our principles and sources and the Hero's Covenant copy that the children came up with last year. When 1st through 6th grade meet together, we regularly have around 6 students. If every single 1st through 6th grader showed up at the same time, we would have much closer to 20. So as attendance grows, we may need to separate that age group. This room has also been set up with a lot of our nature-based supplies. So if we have a nature activity and can't go outside due to weather, we have all sorts of items to explore up top. We have magnifying glasses and binoculars that we use, all sorts of trail guides, Iowa birds, Iowa trees and wildflowers, Iowa wildlife, animal tracks of the Midwest. We have rubbing plates of different animal tracks, and we have bones that have been cleaned. It's very cool. They were found on this site and can still fit together. Cushions are sometimes used if we're sitting. Occasionally, things like yoga mats are brought in here. There are some art supplies there, and we do have lap desks available. This is the Redbud room. For our Experilearning service, we will be doing yoga in this room. Please join me in some chair yoga now.
Find a lovely long, tall spine. And think about making some length through the sides of your neck as well, so we're not tipping the head back, not tipping it forwards, just a lovely long neck. Take a big inhale. Imagine you could breathe all the way down into your feet. How would you do that? Pretend that you could, inhaling all the way down into the feet. And as you exhale, just let go of anything that's been on your mind, anything that's been troubling you recently. We'll keep this deep breath going. As you inhale, bring your arms out nice and wide into a T. Maybe even press the arms back a little bit. As you exhale, we're coming into a hug. So right arm goes on top, right hand to left shoulder, left hand to right shoulder. You can just drop the head. Inhale here, really breathing into the space between the shoulder blades. Exhale, round the spine a little more. Inhale, open up, bring your arms out into a T. Press the arms back even more. And then exhale, hug on the other side. So left arm comes on top, left hand to right shoulder, right hand to left shoulder. Drop the head. Inhale deeply into the space between the shoulder blades. Exhale, round the spine even more. Inhale, open the arms up into an even bigger T. See if you can press the hands back even more. Exhale, bring the hands together into prayer. Press the hands together a little bit to lift and open across the collarbones. You can inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale to soften the gaze or lower the gaze or close the eyes. Inhale here. Exhale to soften around the edges. Blink the eyes open. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
How we give, what we do with our lives, our time, and our resources is a reflection of our values. In response to the abundance we are blessed with, every week this congregation donates generously to organizations in the community whose work aligns with our values and our principles. Our community partner agency during August is the Center for Worker Justice. The Center for Worker Justice's priority issues include defending workers' rights to proper payment and safe work, improving housing options for low-income residents, confronting discrimination and ensuring equal access to community services, and providing assistance to those affected by immigration policies. Today, the offertory isn't being taken up in the sanctuary. They are talking to the children and youth about the offertory and what we do and why we do it this way. But today, the offertory is being discussed in the fellowship hall, where we host many all ages activities. These range from things like the Earth Festival, where we had a couple of people from the Center for Worker Justice at our vendor tables, to things like Friday night fun nights, where we get together and play games and have fun, doing other types of activities, to summer camp programming. This summer we had up to 27 children and youth in that space, in our fellowship hall, engaging in different learning experiences and fun activities. Each month, all cash contributions go directly to our community partner agency. In addition to assisting our community partner, you may contribute toward your pledge to our society or contribute to the congregation to provide additional support for our operating expenses. You may also contribute by check using the memo line to designate this purpose. The offering is a sign of commitment to this free congregation, which is almost completely supported by the generosity of all who join with us. As we give and receive the offering, may we be transformed by our giving, and may the world be transformed by our gifts. To contribute online to our community partner agency, you may go to the link on the screen or by mailing a check to UUS with CWJ on the memo line. You can also, as I mentioned before, make a gift or pledge payment to our operating budget. You can do so by donating to this link that is on your screen. You can also text "Give to UUSIC Operating" and send that to 73256. You can also mail a check to the office with operating or pledge on the memo line. All of the donations that come in to support UUS directly through pledging or through the operating budget allow us to continue having all ages programming, allow us to continue supporting the Mind Spirit groups that meet regularly, allow us to continue to support our community. So thank you for your gift.
In the Maple Room, we regularly have 1st through 6th graders. Again, this is often a group of about 7, but if we had everyone show up, we'd be closer to 20 and would need to split into multiple groups. This space has a table with a chair left open for somebody who needs space, who has a mobility aid that is not compatible with chair space. You can see over by the window there, we've got a few items for our new basketball pole that have not made it out of this room yet, but this maple room is regularly used for arts and crafts by children and youth, but is also a great meeting room. We have the ability to set up a video camera so that the TV can be connected to Zoom and a laptop or a Google Meet space. And we have all of our supplies here. The supplies on that shelf are supposed to stay with this room, but these art supplies that are labeled in this rolling cart are available to move to any space where somebody might be needing to craft during their meeting. We have a couple of sensory seats or wobble seats that are able to be used by children and adults alike. We had some volunteers who tried them out yesterday and absolutely loved them. But so in this space, as I said, we often have 1st through 6th graders, and it's most frequently our older group who's in this space. Lots of 3rd, 4th graders are in here. And at that age, kids are starting to identify their own experiences, their own perspectives, and gain a deeper understanding of their identity, to seek out and care about and respect those of others as well. So, the activity in this room is to create a name tag. Now, if you are viewing this at home and not with a group of people, maybe a name tag isn't the way to go. So I'm going to invite you, remember how you journaled a little bit ago, I'm going to invite you to revisit those supplies that you had. So something to write on and something to write with. And I'd like you to think about your experiences related to UUS when you answer these following questions. Now, of course, on a name tag and in this activity, name and pronouns is something that we're asking those in person to put at the top. And then we want you to chat with someone if it's possible, or just journal if it's easier for you at this time. What are you good at? Now remember, the questions that we're asking are as related to how you interact with UUS. So you might be really good at holding the door open for people. Or you might be really good at singing. There are a variety of ways. Maybe you're really good at proofreading, or really good at participating in a covenant group, being an active listener. There are lots of things that we can be good at directly related to our time with Unitarian Universalist Society. So what are you good at? And I don't want you to just write singing. I want you to write, I'm good at singing. Or whatever it is that you choose that applies to you. I want you to write or to chat about what energizes you. So is it that singing, that communal singing? Is it picking up trash? Is it being outside and in the gardens? What is it that energizes you? Being with others? Reading a good book? A spiritual practice? What depletes you? I could list all those same things again because we're all so different. I'm looking for... What is it you're looking for? From UUS? From the community here? From the programming provided? What is it that you're looking for? So those will pop up on the screen in a minute, and I encourage you to pause while you reflect on those. So I'm good at what energizes me is what depletes me is I'm looking for take your time. How do those answers relate to your experiences at UUS? In the back corner of the RE wing, we have a classroom called the Walnut Room. Primarily, this room is utilized for sensory breaks. So you can see we have covers on the lights to soften the light in here. I'd like you to enter the room quietly. If the door is closed, it might mean that somebody else is already taking a break in here. We have some floor cushions set up with a stuffed animal for a nice soft place to relax when you need a moment away. The table here we have some mandala type coloring pages, some other coloring pages, and soon we'll have Zentangle materials. You can see the chair in the corner there is quite relaxing when you need a break away from whatever it is that you need the break from. We have a couple of plants in here now, and we look to get more. On these shelves you can see some more of those wobble seats that I mentioned, and those are rated for over 300 pounds, so please feel free to try them out. There is a nice open space here, and soon there will be a mat here to be able to do some stretching, do a little bit of yoga. The poses on these images are meant to be for beginning and experienced people who are practicing yoga. This mandala in the middle is also meant for relaxation and focus purposes and meditation. So you can simply stand here and take some breaths and get lost in those designs. To provide some white noise in the room, we do have a fish tank. The water is currently getting prepared to have a fish added, and we look forward to being able to do that soon. This space by the door is set up for an individual to come and get some quiet time. That person might choose to doodle or journal or whatever it is that they need to get out of their brains and hearts. But they might also choose to do a sensory activity. Moving that Play-Doh around can really help some people relax. We'll slowly turn. You are also welcome to draw on the board. Over here in the corner by the board, there are more options for sensory experiences. So we have those Pop-It bracelets in here. We also have the noodles, which are quite delightful to move around and focus on. And then I always think this fidget is perfect for UU spaces, because don't those look like U's? I just love that, and it does all sorts of things. So you can come and rest, come and get some peace and quiet. This is a great space if the activity is too much out in the sanctuary or in the fellowship hall or outside. We had some campers utilize this space when they needed to get away from the noise and excitement. It's also a great space to come and meet in. You're welcome to move the table if more bodies need to, for instance, do some stretching, but you're also welcome to add a couple more chairs to that table if you'd like to just meet in this peaceful space. The activity in this room is a guided meditation. So please get comfortable and join me.
These instructions guide you through a 1-minute mindfulness meditation practice to be done anytime, any place. Begin by becoming aware of your body in this moment and the sensations of your body touching a chair or the ground. Now guiding your awareness to your breath. Breathing in, rest with the sensation of the in-breath. Breathing out, rest with the sensation of the out-breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Meeting your experience with acceptance, friendliness, and curiosity. If a thought arises, simply note thinking and return your attention to your breath. Breathing in, breathing out.
Our next two spaces are actually being combined into one for this Experilearning service. So I'm going to enter in through the oak room, but it is currently attached to the hickory room as well. So this is the oak and hickory room. This side, the oak room, when the wall is closed, it has 3 couches here. It does have some cushions on the ground. We have a basket with blankets if someone is too cold in this space. But this room here is often used by groups like 100 Grannies when they come in to meet at UUS. But as I said, right now, we have the wall open. So it's also sharing with space with the hickory room right now. We have, let me back up a little, sorry about that. We have the cornhole boards that the youth group is in the process of painting. We'll have those painted for August 20th when we have our in-gathering service and celebration. These are the paintings that the youth prepared and then everyone added to during the Youth Sunday service back in April. So you might recognize your flower if you come into this space. This space is often used for OWL. We just had 11 students complete 7th to 9th grade OWL. So on the wall here we have our circles of sexuality, the Our Whole Lives, Bill of Rights, and program assumptions. And our covenant from this last group is still up. It's a good covenant for all youth spaces and all spaces in general. So we've left that up. We have some flags. This flag was gifted to us by a congregant after Pride. So love is love. Love has no limit. We have also added a Black Lives Matter flag to our space and a Progress Pride flag to this space. One thing that, as I said, this side of the room here, this hickory side, is often used by OWL. It's also often used by our youth group, hence the more youth-friendly, comfortable, and difficult to get out of for certain knees and backs seating. In this space, you'll often find more fidget items, more sensory items available. I mentioned that they are in the process of painting those cornhole boards, so our paints and supplies are still out because they're going to finish those this weekend. Our tarp we did put away for ease of movement around this space. Youth are extremely good at perception and questioning perception. So the activity for this space is doing just that. It's questioning powers of perception. So for this activity, the in-person participants in this service are also writing. So that pencil and paper that you already grabbed, please go ahead and make sure those are available for you again. What we're going to do is I'm going to show you an image. If you're close to your computer or phone or tablet screen and whatever it is you're viewing this video on, just be sure it's a little farther away than usual, preferably at the end of arm's reach would be great for this activity. If you've seen this activity, or if you've seen this image before, and many of you may have, please just play along as if you had not seen this image before. So quickly glance at the image that is about to come up on the screen now. Okay. And write down what you saw. What was the first thing that you saw? This is an optical illusion titled vanity. If you didn't see the skull, I'm going to put the image back on the screen now. If you didn't see the skull, there it is. Go ahead and take a longer look. I'll remove the marks. Take a look again. How many of you saw that skull? How many saw the lady? How many of you saw both images? The title of the illusion is Vanity. Why? So now, with your writing implement and paper, I want you to just kind of journal for a moment. What do first impressions have to do with awareness? That perception of when we first encounter something. What does it have to do with awareness? Write about examples of a time when you thought one thing was happening, but something else was actually taking place. A time that maybe you misjudged or prejudged someone based on first impression. Everyone does this. It doesn't make us a bad person. Our brains are wired to sometimes make snap judgments. It becomes a problem when we always make snap judgments, or when our judgments are so ingrained that we cannot change our minds, even when confronted with evidence to the contrary or an equally valid truth. So, what is that importance of those initial impressions? Why do we need to question them? How can we change our perspective? On the south side of our building, you'll find our natural playscape and children's play areas. This tree here, which is directly across from our sanctuary windows, is one of the preferred climbing trees on our campus. The children love the sturdy branches of the pine, and it makes for fun climbing despite the sappiness at the end of it. The stage here we've been utilizing for children's RE this summer. This is where we meet, but it's also a popular meeting place of other groups. I've known staff to occasionally come out here and pull up chairs, or other teams and committees also have utilized this space. Even at the sun's highest during the day, this area is nice and shaded. One of the newer additions to our property is our treehouse platform that is just so amazing and a highlight of our exploration time outside. It has been all sorts of things, homes and pirate ships and all sorts of things that children imagine. They like to swing from this branch right here, and the platform is nice and large enough to give them that space to do so. We have an art easel here. Sadly, a storm has removed the plexiglass, but I know some amazing volunteers who are working to get that replaced. If you go down that path, you get to the trails, which we also use sometimes, but those aren't part of our tour today. Our kitchen and water space are here as well. And then we have some more enrichment activities with our musical instruments. We have our mushroom drums, which are just delightful. But one of the favorites is definitely this machine here. I'll go ahead and show you how it works. So I'll get these pine needles out of here. It's kind of like a rain stick, but not quite. And it's got holes all around it, so children just swarm around it and pour the rocks down to hear the beautiful music. Another musical instrument here. They like to see how different materials sound on the tubes. Down the hill is another popular location for us to go during summer camps and during our Sundays when we gather outside. The children love what we call the boulder scramble. Goes down. There are some benches there helping define the boundary. The trails, again, there's those stairs and path, and the trails go off to the left there. The stumps that you can see down there are easily movable by children, and they enjoy finding beetles and worms and roly-polies and all other sorts of creatures underneath the logs. If I turn back toward the building, we have our RE, or religious education garden. We have some herbs here. The tarragon is about to flower, but the rosemary is nice and small. And here, doesn't look as good as it once did, but the deer really enjoyed the petunia. The flowers in the middle that were for the butterflies have mostly gone. But here you can see the psyllium is just thrilled to be in this space and has kind of protected the pepper plants that are in here and just overgrown with peppers. I mean, you can see many of them are turning red. Please feel free to come and enjoy these fruits of the gardens. The basil here, there are some tomato plants hiding in it, but deer really love tomato plants. But the basil has been a nice addition to a pasta salad at a potluck here, and the children in camp actually loved snacking on it. There are chives that you are also welcome to. The cucumbers didn't survive the deer. And we have some extra things growing and hiding, our zinnia and sunflowers that have yet to pop out. The children also love to use this big open space here. It's often a base of sorts that they run to, or even just balancing along the rocks on the edge of they like to refer to it as a rainbow, with the arch and the multicolored rocks. And we like rainbows here, so that works for us. Back this way is the main entrance of the building. We've checked the milkweed regularly and we've found lots of eggs. We've only found 2 caterpillars this year who were named Bread and Butter. and we hope that they've done well since we stopped checking on them after camp. That copse of trees there is referred to as the Skull Cave. Inside there are many bones, and including skulls, hanging that were left by the previous owners of the building, and it's quite fun to see the children try and identify the different animals. Give it a peek around this side, around the loop here. There's a fairly accessible entrance even for more adult-sized people. I highly recommend just stopping by. Soon we'll have a sign there that tells you a little bit more about the history and asks how many different creatures you can identify from their bones. So that is the primary outdoor spaces that we utilize for children's events, and youth often take those trails through the woods. I know other people do too, so please come out. If you come to the front doors, as we have here, the path that we just walked is to the right of the front doors.
We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. We can feed our every need. Every need. We can feed our every need. Every need. We can feed our every need. Start with love, that is the seed. We can feed our every need. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these, our world will die. Peace and freedom is our cry. We are building a new way. We are building a new way.